and that's a Yola, Alabama. All right, your name?
Said Hussein.
Obey Elamad.
All right. And what is the claim in this case, sir?
I'm trying to get the property back. I filed a motion to possession only because the writ, the large judgment was not paid completely.
Today, we are stepping into a courtroom where confusion kicks in almost instantly. The judge opens with a simple question, but the response already feels shaky and uncertain. You can sense that the landlord is trying to explain something that isn't fully structured in his mind. Instead of clarity, we get hesitation and scattered reasoning about rent and possession. That's where the tension begins to build. In just a few seconds, the case sets the tone. This isn't going to be straightforward. The judge is calm, but already probing for consistency. Meanwhile, the landlord seems to be mixing up details. Subtle but important. This intro works because it immediately hints that something doesn't add up. And when things don't add up in court, it rarely ends well.
It was for rent and utilities. I think rent portion was paid, but not utilities.
How much did he pay?
He paid $6,400 just for rent only.
That's the entire judgment amount.
No, that was for, he was so far back, $6,400 covered March rent only.
Hold on a second, sir. I issued a judgment February 20th
Right.
of 2025. So this thing, or 2026, for $5,691.24.
Right. But he did not pay the water bill portion. He paid ahead for the March, but did not pay for the.
It didn't work that way. You can't take this writ if he's paid the full amount of the judgment.
He did, but he did not pay for the rent for March then. He's back.
Your judgment's in February.
Right.
So the judgment wouldn't include March.
He screwed it up. Like he wanted to pay for the rent only, like go ahead in the rent, but not pay for the utilities. And the utilities right now, the 2,092.94.
Sir, I may hear what you're saying,
Right.
but when I took this judgment, it was for $5,691.
The landlord attempts to break down payments, but his explanation only creates more confusion. He insists money is still owed, yet the numbers he provides don't clearly support that claim. The judge steps in, trying to simplify what should be basic math, but the landlord keeps shifting between rent and utilities. That inconsistency becomes a major problem. You can feel the judge's patience being tested as he tries to pin down the exact issue. Instead of a clear argument, we see contradictions piling up. This is where cases often begin to collapse, not because of facts, but because of poor explanation. The landlord is losing control of his own narrative. And once that happens, it's very hard to recover.
$24. He's paid that by your own admission.
He paid it, but we had agreement that he's going to pay for the March rent, right? He's not going to pay for the water.
I don't know what that is.
I got confused that too. So
what?
I got confused with it too. So I'm not sure, but
well, I don't know what that agreement is because I wasn't there.
Right. Right. The thing is, like, they have done this to other rent before, so that's my issue. And
bad people.
I mean, according to the court documents, submitted that document with my motion. I think Exhibit I.
Go ahead, sir. What do you want to say?
I have that judgment that you had put in for the 5,600 and change, I believe.
Yeah.
And I had explained to Mr. Hussein on February 27th, I'll pay you 6,400. He was texting me back and forth that he was struggling with his mortgage and he didn't want me to be late on rent anymore. So I said, I'll pay the 1,200 of January, 2,600 of February, and I'll take care of $2,600 in March since we're coming up on it 4 days away. And so I said, in return, is it possible that you could set aside the water bill portion of it and I'll take care of that separately? And he agreed, and I have the text message
I
confirmation.
don't really care about all that. Because the judgment's been paid.
So what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to file another,
You're gonna have to start over as soon as you can do.
because the court cost was not paid either. I mean,
Perfect. I issued judgment for a certain amount. The judgment for a certain amount has to be paid.
right.
That's what I did. By your own admission, I don't even have to listen to him. By your own admission, he's paid the judgment. There's nothing else I can do.
This is the turning point where everything flips. The tenant steps in with a calm, structured explanation that immediately contrasts the landlord's confusion. He lays out exact amounts, specific months, and even mentions text message proof of an agreement. Suddenly, the story starts making sense. The judge quickly recognizes that the judgment amount was actually paid, regardless of how the landlord feels about utilities. This is a critical moment because clarity replaces chaos. The tenant doesn't raise his voice or get emotional, he just presents facts. And in a courtroom, facts delivered cleanly are powerful. You can almost see the judge mentally closing the case right here. Once the numbers align, the argument against the tenant begins to fall apart completely.
Paid it, but the clause involved that he's not gonna pay for the utilities, so this is a lease violation, Your Honor.
Are you not understanding what I'm saying? It's really simple math. If I issue a judgment for 5,000 and he pays 6,000, he's paid the judgment.
I mean, somebody should have told me.
Motion to issue, well, then you need to get a lawyer. Hey, I can't tell you. Don't sit up there and try to blame him. Don't sit up there and try to blame the court. If you don't know what you're doing, get a lawyer. Motion to issue the writ is denied. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is where the judge draws a firm line and brings everything to a close. His tone shifts from patient to direct, making it clear that the argument has run its course. He simplifies the entire dispute into basic logic. If the judgment is paid, the case is done. There's no room left for side arguments or confusion about agreements. The landlord tries one last time, but it doesn't land. The judge even points out that if you don't understand the legal process, you need proper guidance instead of blaming others. That moment hits hard. It's not just a ruling, it's a lesson. And just like that, the motion is denied. Clean, decisive, and final. This is the peak where authority and clarity completely shut down the dispute.
Name?
Viola Hines.
All right. And this is a termination. What's the basis for the termination?
Unauthorized occupant here.
And my daughter-in-law.
You're what?
My daughter-in-law.
Still there?
Yes. I sent for her birth certificate, her social security card. She has her ID and she has her benefit letter from Social Security that has her birthday and stuff on it.
So you're seeking to add her to the lease?
Yes.
Is that what you're,
Uh-huh.
is that a possibility, Counselor, or what?
Would have happened prior to coming in.
Prior to what?
Again.
So what's that mean?
Well, she's apparently been living there since October.
She's been in and out.
2025. And so I believe because she's been in and out, they gave her an application and then there's just been some stalling on the application. So by the time that we gave them the lease violation notice, a significant amount of time has lapsed for getting the paperwork together.
No, we turned the application in. And then I told
We're still
Renee,
waiting.
yeah.
Still waiting on the birth certificate, social security card, the
Mm-hmm. And she came from Oklahoma. I went and got her.
I'm sorry.
I went and got her from Oklahoma. She was homeless down there. So she's been helping us and asked for
The application's been, right, oh, I'm sorry, but the application's been turned in. So if some miracle were to occur that all of the paperwork were here right now, you're telling me you're not gonna process the application?
Well, the application isn't complete without the paperwork, so it hasn't technically been.
You really want to get into technicalities with me? I don't know that.
But I just want to be specific in saying that it's not turned in until all of the paperwork is turned in, because you can't process it without the
Well, I get that.
certificate, especially because it's HUD paperwork. And I'm not trying to like, but it is HUD stuff, so it's not like I'm, you know what
When,
I mean? So I'm not trying to.
no, I hear you, but Ms. Hines, when are you gonna have when is that stuff gonna be?
I can go to Social Security, me and her, and get proof of birth identity from them till the birth certificate come.
What exactly, hold on a second. What exactly do you to complete the application?
We need. Might have to consult my client loans.
Oh, you're fine. Trying to kill me, man. What?
Michigan ID,
Need a Michigan ID?
social security card, a benefit letter. And she has to be in good standing
Good standing.
with the community.
Okay. So. Does she have to have a Michigan driver's license?
To be
My nephew didn't.
a Michigan ID.
They accepted him with his Oklahoma ID when I put him on my
The
lease.
compliance officer is there. Michigan ID,
Pardon?
Michigan ID.
We get it.
I don't understand why, because this is all about identity. It's not gonna be about. Okay. I understand that in some ways you're the messenger.
Mhm.
Maybe we can submit the Oklahoma ID and see what happens,
But she doesn't have an Oklahoma ID.
Yes, she does.
She does.
Uh-huh.
Has an Oklahoma ID. Oh, but is that like that's not a driver's license, it's just an
ID.
just an ID?
Yes.
So I thought, wow, thanks. I
bring you water.
I know, I was parched. I was just gonna dry up here. You didn't seem to care.
You're so good.
Oh no, don't pay me. No, I do appreciate it, man. I do. I do.
The muscle, I'm gonna be nice.
I don't know why she couldn't take the Oklahoma ID to SOS and get a Michigan ID. So she should be able to do that.
Uh-huh.
It could be, that could be why it's compliant, because it's just an ID maybe and not a.
Pardon?
That could be why compliance once, because it's an ID maybe and not a driver's license. Maybe.
Yeah, but they can't No, I hear you, but I don't think they can require a driver's license as opposed to an ID. If they do, then they
No.
come in here and tell me that, and I don't think I want to do that.
Right,
So there's the ID, and then there's a social security card. They didn't think anybody really had. But um she can go to the Social Security Administration and get
yes,
that.
that Monday,
Okay. And then you said a benefit letter.
we have that already,
You have the benefit letter already?
yes,
So two out of the three of these things, theoretically, you have.
yes.
Have you given that to them? Yeah.
So,
Why, Ms. Hines?
well, because it's best I not talk to her right now. She's been harassing me,
Who?
manager,
Okay.
so
So, all right.
therefore,
I,
I'm not,
okay.
I will take it in there. I'll have Stacy take it. And her,
The courtroom shifts into a completely different kind of story. A new case begins, and this time it's more personal and layered. A woman is trying to help her daughter-in-law, who has been struggling and even facing homelessness. Instead of conflict, we now see confusion around paperwork, identification, and compliance. The judge's tone changes noticeably, less confrontational, more guiding. He walks through the requirements step by step, making sure she understands what needs to be done. There's still pressure, especially with deadlines and rent obligations, but it feels more constructive than adversarial. This part highlights the human side of the courtroom. It's not just about rules. It's about real people trying to fix difficult situations under pressure.
ID.
Do you have it with you now?
No, I didn't bring it. I cut the bus. But I have it at home.
All
Her
right.
ID and her benefit letter. I had it in that brown folder when I was here on the 10th.
Gotcha. Okay. But, okay. So here's what you got to do. I want a copy. I want you to go get a copy
Okay,
of all of those.
Mhm.
And I want a copy turned into the court.
okay,
Okay. And then you take those other copies, those other things down to the management office, give them there. You don't have to talk to anybody,
all right,
give them to them. And that'd be two out of the three.
okay.
And then you need a social security card.
Yes, and they'll give me the,
Okay. So you would have to go to the Social Security Administration.
yes.
And I don't even know how they do the cards. Like if you go down there and you got an ID, will they?
They, you fill out the application and they'll give you proof of the,
Hey,
they'll give you proof.
I got this.
Number and stuff.
They're just sending it through the post office. God
Right.
knows, I'll set this for Christmas.
It takes about 2 weeks. I just had babies. So it takes about 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, for a new person, yeah.
Right,
I think they already started though at the hospital, don't they? But anyway, we'll get into all that. Okay, so if it's going to take 2 weeks to do that, so the termination, is the rent being paid, or are you accepting the rent, or what's the deal?
no, wasn't accepting it. Till I got all that did.
Pardon?
Not accepting it until I got all that done.
I know, and it's because it's termination.
Uh-huh,
How much, do we know how much is owing?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's 1,500.
About 1,500? Okay, Ms. Hines, do you have the 1,500?
I will have it on the 30th.
Okay, very good.
So we could do escrow if your honor wishes.
Yeah, or, okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get immediately to the Social Security office.
Okay.
You have to do, all right,
Mhm.
to get that Social Security card headed on its way.
Okay,
All right, if you do that next week, and if council's right and it takes about 2 weeks, let's hope, okay, it'll get there. The other documents, the other two things that you have, you need to get down to the office. I want a copy of those.
Okay.
You're to deposit with the court $1,500. How much is your monthly rent?
280.
280. So I want $1,500 and then 280 by the first.
Okay,
Okay. And you bring that to the court.
all right,
That's everything. Okay,
and it'd be cash.
yes, it has
Okay.
cash. So ultimately, you're gonna put 1780 into, and I'm just taking her number for the time being, any respect. And then,
About right.
and then you do all of that. I will adjourn this then to May 8th.
Okay,
That's gonna give council, I'm sure will be right, 2 weeks for the social security card, but you gotta get down there right away.
yes.
So have those other forms. And then we'll,
Is it a Friday? Aaron?
that, the 8th is a Friday. Okay. One.
Okay.
All right, at 1 p.m.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
science, have a good weekend.
You too.
What's up with the Kansas?
I was disappointed in them.
I never liked them.
Well, I don't
Why
like,
did you wear that in front of me?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm in a bad mood now. I'm
I
gonna,
like them, but I don't like.
now everybody's gonna have a bad day now.